I got you with that thumbnail, didn't I? Hello and welcome everybody. Do you like the idea of Minecraft but found the visuals too bare bones to tolerate? Or do you think Anno's supply chains are for losers who can't multiply 63 with 27 on the fly in their head? And Factorio's 2D layout makes it so simple any toddler can play it? Well, then you should definitely give Satisfactory a shot, because that monster of a production / open world / building game is a sight to behold. And it starts so nice and simple. Your employer, the Fiskit company, expects nothing but hard work, no sleep and total commitment from you. Just like every average US company these days, to help creating more billionaires we so desperately need. But I digress. Equipped with a command center and a glorified pickaxe, you start turning this beautiful and balanced ecosystem into the industrial dystopia it deserves to be. And you can't help, while violating every ethical and ecological principle you should value and preserve, to do all this with immense satisfaction, while turning slowly into an eco-terrorist on a global scale. Because this game does so many things right, even in its now late early access state, that you happily ignore all the dark side of the Force energy and start cutting down trees left and right with grim determination. The open world is beautifully designed with a variety of very different biomes. The wildlife ranges from warthogs that have watched too many The Flash episodes to your unfriendly neighborhood spiders, something that kills you on sight. They made the skittering spiderlings so scary in this game, they had to implement a cat mode for them. Seriously, I'm not making this shit up, and yes, this is actual gameplay capture. So you set out with some bare bones technology at hand, exploiting some iron, copper and limestone nodes to craft your first tier of production goods. Some metal sheets, tubes, copper wire and so on. Constantly cutting back these pesky leaves, trees and everything that these science nerds claim to produce oxygen or whatnot. Because coal mining as your first power source that can be fully automated has to be earned by hard labor and sending a bunch of materials into space, where your company obviously has some gigantic space trade center to sell all the stuff to some poor third world planets with cheap labor, just like yours, to produce even more valuable and useless stuff that they can then sell to some of their billionaire friends for insane amounts of money. The glory and holy cycle of consumption. But I digress again. So just as you are figuring out how these basic production chains work and constantly automating and streamlining your production chains, exploring the world, making new friends along the way and picking up exotic materials, the game shamelessly teases you with new cool stuff that you could obtain if you progress through the more and more complex production chains. And like craving for that freshly baked, deliciously smelling chocolate cake after having nothing to eat for 3 days, you want these flashy new toys. All of them. The Explorer buggy to roam the world, the truck that you can program to refill your coal power plants, the guns to negotiate peace treaties with the locals in the spirit of Starship Troopers. Only a dead bug is a good bug. And then we have not even started to talk about drones for air delivery across the map, hyperloops or trains that can haul gigantic amounts of materials around, and those sweet, sexy explosives for your advanced hunting and destruction tasks. And in the spirit of every true endgame goal, the fashion, or in this case the sexiness of your factories, you gain access to more and more elaborate tools for your master in architecture that surely will be sent automatically to you after finishing the game in the full release version. The creations of the community let me always feel like a dumb caveman that thinks Peak factory design is adding some windows to a cube. And the price for all these tools is nothing more than your sanity. Trying to balance and automate insanely complex production chains with various materials from across the planet that all come in various amounts that follow only one rule. Just never match the needed input amount with the actual production amount. You either become a math professor on the side or set your calculator on fire on a regular basis. Or you use these handy online tools to create some easy to convert production lines. Always close to a mental breakdown and having happy flashbacks to your first and simple automated tier 1 production line that you admired in your unknowing pride, like a toddler happily pointing out his first pile of poop that he created all by himself. In its essence, this is a highly unethical game that makes you want to plant trees after a lengthy gaming session because you feel so dirty and guilty. But it is also a hell of a satisfying game that is great fun to play, and to extinct an entire planetary ecosystem that is nothing more than some imaginary pixels never hurt anybody. And if you have not laid your greedy hands by now on this game, then I can only highly recommend doing so. Embrace your inner dark side and become the person you always really wanted to be. And that is all for now about Satisfactory. Take good care of yourself and enjoy your gaming sessions.